Hello everyone, I am Cindy from Crochet. Today I'm going to teach you how to make this little Daisy, my sweetie. She is really adorable and also she has the Daisy baskets as well and she can hold it. So I am going to teach you the miniature Daisy baskets and the daisies as well. And this is my inspiration. I got the inspiration from the Lolita dress, which I wear it, and also I made the DIY Lolita dress as well. You can check the link in the description box. I adapt it as the Red Riding Hood. So this is my red Lolita dress. Please see the link for the detail. Also, I have her friend as well, which are Fiona, the librarian, and then Georgina, the cloud girl. They use the same base pattern. So if you are interested, the link in the description box. So now let's get started. To make the base body, you need 4-ply yarn and 3mm crochet hook. First of all, you should start with the legs. So you make 2 of them. And the first row is to make magic ring 6SC. After I get 6SC, I will pull the yarn to close the loop, and then you will start the second row. For the second row to the 6th row, continue making 6SC around. Okay, when you finish, you will get the leg like this. You make another leg, and this time is a bit tricky. You need to join both of them by making one chain first, and then put the hook into the second leg. After that, you just pull the yarn through 2 loops. Okay, and after that, you have to start making SC in the other legs first. So start making SC over there. Okay, and then keep making SC on the second leg first. On the middle chain that we use it to join both legs, you need to make SC on that chain as well. Okay, you make SC on this chain and you keep making the rest of SC on the first leg until you finish. After you finish row 7, you're going to have 15 stitches. So if you don't understand, please see the chart on the left hand below. After that, sew the middle of the leg using the leftover yarn. Okay, and we're done. We'll get something like this. After that, continue the part. I use the purple yarn to mark that this is the beginning of each row, so it is easier. We continue to make 8th row. We're going to make 15 SC along around. After you finish this row, you will get 15 stitches. Okay, I'm done with the 8th row, and now the next row, row 9, we're going to make 3 SC and decrease 1 decrease on the size of the leg, and after that we're going to make 5 SC. Okay, I keep making 5 SC. Alright, I'm done making 5 SC. Then I make decrease and then 3 SC. After you finish this row, you will get 13 stitches. Okay, I finished. And then for row 10, make 2 SC, decrease, 5 SC, and then decrease, and 3 SC. You will get 11 stitches after you finish this row. Okay, for row 11 and 12, keep making 11 SC. This is very simple. Okay, for row 13, you make 3 SC, and then increase, and then 4 SC, and then increase, and then 2 SC. It's not very tricky either. Just notice that the increase chain will be at the size of the leg. For row 14 to 15, make 13 stitch SC. Okay, you will get something like this. And after that, you just cut the Y. I use 1mm Y. I bought it from Walmart. This is very cheap. And you have to bend the Y at the end of the Y. So I recommend you cut the Y for 24 centimeters. And then bend the Y at both ends. Okay. Actually 24 is the best. Alright, and then after that you just insert it into both legs, you know. Okay, after that you just fill in the polyester fiber to the leg part and the body part. So you need to use something small to push the polyester inside the leg. You can also use scissors to help you push the polyester down below the leg. Okay, then I start the arm part. For the arm, it is very simple, just the same as the leg. Make first one, make magic ring 5 SC, you will get 5 stitch. And for the next row, for like row 2 to row 5, okay. For row 2 to row 5, we're going to make 5 SC. Okay, now I finish one arm and then make 2 arms. Okay. After that, you just sew the arm. You have to sew it. Sew the arm to the size of the body part. And now I'm done with this. Okay. After that, you will need to continue with the Y structure of your arm. So first of all, cut the Y for 13 centimeters and then bend the Y as follows. Okay, then put the Y into the arm. I recommend you secure the arm structure to the main body part structure, like this. And then insert it into the arm. After that, to build the top part structure. Okay, for this row, it's going to be a little bit hard because you have to work with the Y structure as well. So first of all, you have to try to eliminate the unwanted leftover yarn as much as possible. And you have to start on the body part by making 5 SC. Actually, I have already made 1 SC to continue to extend the yarn, right? So just make 5 SC on the body part. Okay, after you've done 5 SC on the body part, just put the yarn into the arm and then continue another 5 SC on the arms. Okay, after you've done 5 SC on the arm, just continue putting the hook on the body part and make 6 SC on the body part. After you make 6 SC on the body part, just keep doing 5 SC on the other arms. Okay. Then after you make 5 SC on the arm, make 2 SC on the body part, and then you will finish this row. After you finish this row, you're going to have 23 stitches. If you don't understand very well, please see the chart. Okay, for row 17, you're going to make 4 SC, 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, you're going to make 3 decreases. Okay, that is nothing hard. It's not very tricky. I believe you guys can do it. Okay, this is the second decrease and the third decrease. Alright, you guys just follow the code 5SC and then 3 decreases and then 2SC. After you finish this row, you're going to have 17 stitches. For row 18, you're going to make 8 decreases and then 1 SC. After you finish this row, you're going to have 9 stitches. Okay, after that, piece tie to fill in the polyester fiber to the body part and the shoulder part. After that, continue row 19 by making SC and decrease for 3 times around. After you finish this row, you're going to have 6 stitches. The last row would be the neck of the doll, so make 6 SC around. Okay, now we finish the body part. Okay, it will look like this. After that, we start the head part. Continue on the head part. First row of the head part, you're going to make 6 increases. After you finish the first row, you're going to have 12 stitches. For the second row, make SC and then increase for 6 sets around. After you finish this row, you're going to have 18 stitches. For row 3, 4, 5, and 6, just keep making the codes on the screen. So you just try to increase the rows, the stitch throughout all this row. After you finish it, you're going to have 42 stitches, and then row 7 to 13, keep making 42 stitches, 42 SC around, sorry. Okay, now I finished the row 13 and then continue making row 14 by starting to decrease the stitches. So the first one would be 5 SC decrease for 6 sets around, and then for row 15, 16, 17, you're going to decrease the stitch by 6 stitch every row. Okay, after you finish the 17th row, you're going to have 18 stitches. After that, fill in the polyester fiber on the head. Then for row 18 to row 20, keep reducing the stitches until they only have 4 stitches left at the end of the head. So it's done. This is the body part of my doll. For the eye part, we're going to use the jumper needle and the felting wool, many color. It depends on you which color do you choose, but the white one and the black one is mandatory. First of all, just measure the center of the face, and then you can mark the place you want to put the eye in by using the pencil. So the eye, we're going to make it around row 7 to row 9. First of all, you have to make the base for the eye first, starting with the lightest color first. For me, I choose the light brown, and then just keep poking the wool to the body part. Okay, just keep poking it at the bottom of the eye first. Secondly, you have to use a little darker light brown, and poke it around the middle of the eye. And last one, use the darkest color around the top of the eye. So this one will serve as the background for your eye. Okay, try to make the oval shape, After that, you stretch the light, spin its light for the backyard, for the back wool, and then fill it around the oval shape. This part is a little bit hard, but I believe you can do it. However, if you guys don't like felting or think it is so hard, maybe you can just use the embroidery by using just a thread, or other material to make the eyes. Okay, now I finished making the oval part already. After that, use the black one again, and then you just try to mold it a little bit, and then just poke it in the middle of the eye. After that, use two of the white one to poke it around the top and the bottom of the eyes. So this one is the top, and the other one is in the bottom. Okay, then use the white one to fill around the oval shape. So now I start off by felting on the left side of the eye first. And then I fill it on the right side of the eye. Okay, you will get something like this. After that, you might need to use the black one again and stench it and make it around the oval eye again in order to make the outline clearer for your doll, so you can cut off the existed part. Okay, and then make the shape like this. So now the eye is very pretty. Also, make the eyebrow above the eye as well. You can use other color eyebrows if you want to. It depends on the hair color. I use a dark brown because I like it. And then just make another eyes. So you see, the eye is pretty. After that, you make the nose by using the yarn and sew it about 3 to 4 times around row 7. Okay. Then it's done, and then just hide the yarn on the sides of the head, and then you make the mouth by felt pink wool around row 4 or row 5. It's totally depend on you. After that, apply the blush on her cheek using the cotton bud, and then For the eyes, I use shade of pink floating wool instead. Okay, and this one for the bang, for the hair, we use a 3mm crochet hook, and also piece mark the outline of the hair like this. So you will need to mark it first, and then I will start from the right front hair, and for the first hair, first row, we make 18 chain and then 17 slip stitch. Okay, after you finish the first row, after you finish making 17 slip stitch, you will go to the base of the head, and then you will need to make slip stitch on the head. When you make slip stitch, just put the hook inside the stitch and then make slip stitch. You can go for the next stitch, and then for row 2, make 13 chain and 12 slip stitch, and then slip stitch on the head for the next row, and then keep making the third row. Third row, I make 9 chain and then 8 slip stitch. Alright. And then we make the whole bang from row 4 to row 10. We're going to make each stitch 7 chain and 6 slip stitch. Keep doing so until you reach another side. And then for row 11, 12, and 13, you can just follow the code I wrote on the screen, and then you will get something like this. So this is the hair band. Okay, then after that we start the hair for the midline of the head. Okay, for you make 2 of it, like from the left side and the right side. Now I will show you one side. So you will see I measure the mid hairline like this, and then start from the front toward the back. From the front, you will need to slip stitch the yarn in the same way you did the bang. Okay, for the first row, I make 36 chain and then make 5 SC first, and then make 30 slip stitch. Okay, after you make chain like this, make 5 SC and then make it back the way back to the base, and then make slip stitch on the head. When you make slip stitch, you will need to put the yarn, put the hook inside the stitch, like towards the back, and then make slip stitch like this. So you can just repeat this step until you make the hair that finally reach the neck. Okay, so keep doing so. For the code I wrote on the screen. Okay, so now I'm working on the second row, and then keep working on row 3 to row 19 according to the code I wrote on the screen. So if you basically see that on the midline I use kind of a long chain, but when I reach the occipital, okay, I will make shorter one, and when you reach the occipital bone like this, you will change the direction. You will make the direction from the back towards the front of the face. So for this one is row 20. For row 20, you make 21 chain and then make 20 slip stitch. And then when you make the slip stitch on the head, just make it toward the face direction. So you change direction from left to right or from right to left. Okay, and then keep doing so like toward the front, toward the face of Daisy. And then follow 22, we make a bit shorter, like make only 8 chain and then 7 slip stitch. So this one would be shorter because I would need to fill in the gap only. Okay, and this is a short one, only the weight 7 slip stitch. And then for the next row, you will need to slip stitch on inside the face, you know, and then just make slip stitch. All right. Okay, and keep doing so. Okay, now I finish row 23. Okay, after you finish this one, you can just fasten off. Make slip stitch first and then fasten off on the face. Okay. Alright. And now you will need to sew the hair up first. So you will need to sew the occipital hair all the way up to the top hair to cover the size of the face like this. So I use the pin to pin and outline the hair before I sew it. Okay, after that, you can just sew the hair to the face first. Then, work on the bang part. Just put the bang down and then use the pin to pin the bang down like this, and then you can just sew it. Okay, and then you will need to tie up the both sides of the hair. So this hair will be like on the midline hair. For the midline hair, you need to tie them up together. So you tie the twin tail like for both sides. And then after that, you will make the highlighted hair. For the highlighted hair, you use a little bit of the darker pink color. You can slip stitch the pink yarn on the head. I made 4 each side. So for the first, second, and third one, I make it on top of the head. You can decide where you want to add it. But for the first one, I make it on at the back side, which is the longest. For the longest one would be 53 chain, and then make 5 SC, and then make 47 slip stitch back. And then for the second and third one would be a bit shorter because it is toward the front. Okay, and then you can decide by yourself, but it's all depend up to you. But this is very, very cute, and this is actually what I'm working on right is the third hair, which is on the front, which is only 41 chain. Okay, all right, and then I slip stitch in. All right, and then for 3 of them on the top of the head, you tie it up to the ponytail for the twin tail as well, tie it up as well. And then for the fourth one, you will make it behind the bang. So slip stitch the yarn in and then make a 31 chain. Okay, but keep in mind that I am using the smaller yarn, so my measurement would be different from yours, so you can make it shorter than 31 chain, you know. And then after you make it, just slip stitch on the head as usual. So this one is a way you can add up the highlighted hair. You can add many as you want. Then I sew the fourth hair like behind the bang like this. Okay, and then this one is highlighted on the bang, so you keep making this on the bang. Make sure you make slip stitch yarn in. This one, it will be better if you have less yarn or smaller yarn, and then you use a 1.75 crochet hook, but this is just optional. So what you are doing is that you put the hook into the stitch like this and then make slip stitch toward the hair. So this way you can make it look special by highlighting it on the bang. Okay, and then for the sleeves, we're going to start off with egg chain and then make a slip stitch to the first chain, and this one will form you the loop. Okay, then for the second row you make egg SC, and the third row you also make egg SC as well, and the fourth row would be SC and then increase and then repeat it for 4 sets. If you see the symbol like this, and it's what in the parentheses in the bracket, okay, this one is mean that you need to repeat the same code for time, for the number of time. Yeah, and after that, after you finish the fourth row, you are going to have 12 stitches. Okay, this is how you do it, and now I'm done with that. When you finish, just cut the yarn. You don't need to fasten off the cut the yarn. And now this is my own technique. You need to split the normal size of yarn and split it just half, you know. You don't need to split it more, just split half of it. Then you can continue row 5 by make SC and then 3 chain, and then make SC and then 3 chain, and repeat this for 12 times. So this one will serve as the ruffle or as the trim for your sleeves, and then after that you can just wear your sleeve like this for both sides. And then for the shoe you will start off with 5 chain and then make 2 SC, and then make increase, and then for the last stitch would be 3 SC in the same stitch, like this one, 3 SC in the same stitch, and then the next one would be increase. Okay, and then make 2 SC. Okay, after you finish this row, you are going to have 11 stitches. After that, you can just mark it with a thread of yarn, and then just continue the second row. For the second row, you will start by making 2 SC. Yeah, 1 and 2. Okay, and then for the next one would be 3 SC together. So you will make 1, 2, and 3. So you make for 3 stitch, and then make 3 SC together like this. All right. Okay, 3 SC together. Then the next one would be 3 SC together as well. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 SC together like this, and then make 3 SC. So after you finish this row, you are going to have 7 stitches. After you finish it, you can just fasten off. Then make 2 of them like this, and then wear it to the door. You can just sew it on the door. Actually, this one is very cute and very small. Okay, just wear it and then you sew it on the foot. You get something like this, and then we're going to move on to the next part, which is the top. So the top, you make 2 pieces. First one is a white piece. So for the white piece, you will start off with 6 chain and then turn and then make 5 SC. So you will have 5 stitches. Okay. For the second row, make 1 chain and then turn and then make 5 SC. And then for the third and fourth row, you are going to do the same thing. So every row from the first to the fourth, it would be 5 stitches. And then after you finish the fourth row, you can just fasten off. So this is very basic. Okay. And then for the second piece would be the red one. So we are going to do the same thing as the white one, which is quite simple. Just follow the code I wrote on the screen. It is the same code, but this one is longer. That's it. Okay, now we finish the red piece. It will be like this, and then you can just cut the yarn, fasten off, and then for the edge, you will use the 1/2 of the white yarn as well. So this one you need to split it off first, and then you make SC, and then make 3 chain, and then make SC in the same stitch. Okay, and then to make the ruffle, you do this. So you make SC and then 3 chain and then SC in the same stitch, and then you repeat this set in the blanket for 5 times. Okay, keep doing so. You will get something like this, and then make into the end of the row. Okay, you will get something like this, and then you shift 1 row inside. Okay, this one will make like the red line for the ruffle. So you will do the same thing inside the stitch, just make 3 chain and then make SC and then 3 chain. Okay, and then SC in the same stitch. So you make the cord as make the code the same as the one you make it on the edge. Okay, so this one is actually the same thing as you work on the edge, but for this one you need to just put the hook into the stitch instead. Okay, now we are done. You get something like this, and then make two of it, and then you can just sew the red piece to the white piece, like on the edge, like this. Sew it together. Okay, and then wrap the white piece and red piece on the body part, and then you sew them together, and then now use the red yarn to decorate the top as follows. So you can sew it like this. So basically you sew the cross like 4 crosses. Okay, now I'm done with 4 crosses, and it will look like this. After that, we will going to start the skirt. We will start from the bottom layer first. Okay, for this one, you will need to start from the back side and make 16 increases. Slip stitch the white yarn in, make 16 increases. You will have 32 stitches totally. Okay, and then for this part it might be a little bit hard, but please try to find the stitch like behind the ruffle you make. So keep in mind that you will have 16 stitch, 16 increases. So just keep counting the stitch. Okay, after you finish the first row, you will get something like this, and then you can mark a thread as the beginning of a stitch. So and then continue making increase 3 TSC for 8 times. After this, you will increase the stitch by 8, and you will have 40 stitches. Keep in mind that for the whole work from row 2 to row 7, you will need to work on back loop. Okay, work on back loop only, and then the result would be like this. So you will see that there is a front loop that line up here. Alright, and then you will make the ruffle with white yarn. So this one you will make half of the white yarn, you can just split the yarn as a technique I showed you earlier. And this one you will use 1.75 mm crochet hook. You are going to make 3 chain and then SC and then 3 chain and then SC in the same stitch. Actually it is like the normal ruffle, but this one is like increase in each stitch of the ruffle, so this one will look more dedicated. Okay, and then we are going to make the second layer, the top layer of the skirt. So you will start in the middle of the waist, like in the front middle. Okay, and then you will slip stitch the yarn in. Okay, and then make 16 SC. So when you make this one, try to make it on the waistline. You need to put the hook into the stitch because there is no stitch for this, so you need to put the hook through the stitch and make SC. Okay, just keep making like SC around the waistline. After you finish this row, you will get something like this, and when you count, it's going to be 16 stitches. Okay, and then after that, we are going to continue the second row. You will make one chain and then turn and then make decrease, and then make 14 increases and then make decrease. So for decrease, we make at the edge of the skirt like this one. I am making decrease. Okay, and then you continue 14 increases all the way to another side, and then at the end make decrease again. Alright, keep making increase, and then for the last stitch, for the last two stitch, we make decrease. So after you finish this row, you are going to have 30 stitches. Okay, and then the next row would be row 3. For row 3, you make one chain and then turn and then make 4 SC increase for 5 times, and then make 2 SC, and then make increase, and then make 2 SC. After you finish this row, you are going to have 36 stitches. Alright, after that, you can just follow the code I wrote on the screen. After this, for the topper skirt, I think it is not that hard. It is pretty simple. Just keep like one chain and then turn for every row. And now we are done for until row 7. You will get something like this. Okay. And then after that, we're going to make the ruffle as well. We start making the ruffle from the left side. Yeah, you can put the 1.75 mm crochet hook over there, and then slip stitch the yarn in, make 3 chain and then SC, and then 3 chain and then SC in the same stitch, and then you repeat it until you reach the end of the other side. Okay, after that, when you finish, you will get the whole ruffle around the topper red skirt. Okay. Then after that, for the white part of the skirt that was shown, you will need to make the ruffle with the white yarn for half of the white yarn. At this time, you only make the ruffle on the front loop of row 3 and row 5. For the coat, it will be the same thing as you have done previously, which is 3 chain and then SC, and then 3 chain and then SC in the same stitch. Do it for the only part that was shown out of the red skirt. Okay, now when you're done, you will get something like this. So now this is on row 3, and then I make it on row 5. So it's just like every other row. Okay, now the ruffle is done and it looks gorgeous. Then I will make a shawl. For the shawl, we start with 16 chain. Okay, after that, for the second row, you make 1 chain and then turn and then make 7 SC. After you've made 7 SC in the middle, you will make a decrease. Okay, after you make a decrease, you will continue 7 SC. After you finish the second row, you are going to have 15 stitches. Then for the third row, you make 1 chain and then turn, and then you make increase, and then make 6 SC. make 6 SC, and then in the middle you will make 3 SC in the same stitch. Okay, now I'm going to make 3 SC in the same stitch. So after I made 6 SC, we are going to make 3 SC in the same stitch. Alright, and then continue making 6 SC, and the last one would be increase. After you finish this row, you are going to have 19 stitches. And then for row 4, row 5, and row 6, I will not show you how to do it, but please follow the code I wrote on the screen. This is not very hard, it is quite simple. So after that, you get something like this. Okay, and then don't fasten off the yarn. You can just chain the hook into 1.75 hook and slip stitch the white the white yarn in. For the white yarn, you need to split it first to make it like half, half the white yarn. And then when you slip stitch the white yarn in, you will need to make 3 chain and then SC and then 3 chain and SC in the same stitch, which is actually the ruffle. Okay, just make the ruffle the same way as you did on the skirt. Okay, and then after you make 15 set of ruffle already, you will need to make the ruffle on each side way up the way to the top as well. So what you are doing is doing the same thing. Make 3 chain SC, 3 chain SC in the same stitch up the way to the top. Okay, and then after that, for the last stitch of the top, you can just make a slip stitch and then fasten off. And then after that, for another side, you will start on the top. Okay, and then make the ruffle as well, the same way you did on the other sides. Okay, slip stitch the yarn in, and the first one I would recommend you make one slip stitch first, and then after that keep making ruffle. Okay, now I just made the ruffle on the sideway, and then you can just sew it on the door like this, and now it's very pretty. Okay, sew the shawl on the shoulder. Alright, and then this part is actually the big bow on the head. So you're going to start off with 11 chain, and then for the second row you make 3 chain and then turn and then make 2 triple crochet. So you can see in the website how to do the triple crochet if you cannot see my video clearly. Okay, and then make 2 DC. Okay, and then make HDC, and then after that it is SC. SC is like the middle of the bow already, and then keep making HDC, 2DC, and 2 triple crochet. Okay. Alright, now we're done, and then make 3 chain and then slip stitch at the base. Alright, and then make another 3 chain working on the other side. Make the same code, which is 2 triple crochet, 2 DC, HDC, and then SC in the halfway, and then HDC, 2 DC, 3 2 triple crochet, and then 3 chain and then slip stitch. You know, it is going to be the same step as the previous side. Okay, when you are done, you can just slip stitch on the base as well, and then cut the yarn, fasten off. Okay, you get something like this, and then you sew on the halfway. Yeah, sew in the middle, then sew 2 bows on both sides of the hair. Alright, and then the collar. For the collar, you will use half of the lace yarn with 1.75 mm crochet hook, and you will start off with for mine is 22 SC, but for you it's actually depend on the weight of yarn you use. But you can actually measure the length of the neck circumference and make the chain according to that length. For you, after you make chain, you are going to make the ruffle by making 3 chain and then SC, and then 3 chain and then SC in the same stitch, like all the way along the line until the last stitch of this chain. Okay, like this. And then when you get the ruffle, it will look like this. This one will serve as the collar, and then I use the white yarn to embroider the line. So this one is pretty easy actually. If you guys have the skill for embroider, this one is actually basics. Okay, now you guys, I am done, and then just sew it on the shawl. Okay, and then sew it like this. Okay, and the last part would be the smaller bow. The small bow is on the waistline. We are going to start off with 6 chain and then make DC, HDC, SC, HDC, and DC. Before you make DC, you need to make around 3 chain first, and then just continue the second row. After you finish this, you can just make fasten off, and after that you can just sew the middle and then sew it around the waist of the dress. Okay, this one will look absolutely very cute. And so I'm pretty much done with the dress and Daisy herself. And next part, it would be the baskets of Daisy. Okay, now very lovely. I hope you love it. But then you can see the next part. Then let's see how I make the daisy baskets. Now I will make daisy. So first you need the follow wire. I bought it from Dollar Tree. Cut it as your desired length and then fold the loop at the end. At only one end. We will start from the pollen, use the white yarn, and then we use lace yarn and 1.75 mm crochet hook. First of all, work on the loop, like this, and then you make 3 magic rings in this loop. Okay, 1, 2, and 3 like this one, and then you will need to slip stitch to form the loop. When you slip stitch, change the yarn to white color to make the petals. To make the petals, you will make 5 chain and then make 1 SC, 5 chain and then make 1 SC, and then 3 slip stitch. Okay, and then after you finish the 3 slip stitch, you will need to make slip stitch at the base, which is the pollen, and then you will continue another petals by making 5 chain and then SC and then 3 slip stitch. Okay, after you finish 3 slip stitch, you will need to make the slip stitch in the same stitch, which is the first stitch of the petals as well. So basically, for 1 stitch of the petals, we 1 stitch of the pollen. So for the pollen, you have 3 stitch, right? So 1 pollen mean you need to make 2 petals. So 3 of them, you will have 6 petals totally. So the next one, you just need to slip stitch on the next stitch and then repeat the same step for each petals. Alright, and then when you finish it, you will get something like this. It's going to be 6 petals, and then for the last small gap right here, you will need to add 1 more petals, like as the 7th petals. Or when you make this, you can just slip stitch on the first stitch, and then just keep making the last petals, and then after that you can slip stitch again in the same stitch, and then you can just fasten off. So your daisy will be finished. Okay, and I fasten off. Okay, now it is almost done, but okay, just keep the shape as you want to. Then we are going to make the stem part. For the stem, you will wrap the green lace yarn around the stem and secure it. You can secure it by sewing it like I am doing. So just keep wrapping it around like this. Okay, and then I get something like this. This is very simple and very fast to make. So now my daisy is done. And I made a total of 5 daisies, like this. After that, we're going to make the baskets. For the basket, we use the brown lace yarn. For the first row, we're going to start with 6 chain and then make 4 SC on the chain. So we basically will make the oval shape to be the base of the basket. Okay, make 4 SC. Alright, after you make 4 SC, we will need to make 3 SC in the same stitch for the last stitch. Okay, and then after that, make 3 SC, 1, 2, and 3 along the line. Okay, and then for the last stitch, you will need to make a increase. So after you finish this row, you are going to have 12 stitches totally. And then for the second row and to the third row, just follow the code I wrote on the screen. After you finish the second stitch, you will have 18 stitches, and when you finish the third stitch, you will have 24 stitches. And then for the fourth row, you are going to make 2 chain first. Okay, and then you are going to make a 24 HDC, but only work on the back loop only. So make 24 HDC, and then you will need to slip stitch to form the loop, to form like the circle. Okay. Alright, this is the first row have been finished, and then I will need to slip stitch, okay, at the end. And now we just begin row 5. For row 5, it would be a little bit different. So you make 2 chain, and then we keep make back post and front post, So back post, you will basically put the hook at the back side of the stitch like this. This is back post, and then just make HDC while putting the hook in behind the back side of the stitch, and then another back post HDC. Okay, so you make 2 back post HDC and then 2 front post HDC, and then you will need to just repeat the code in the bracket for 6 times, and after that you can just make slip stitch at the end of the row. So for front post, it will be the same thing. You just insert the hook from the back through the front and go back side again, and then just like this. Okay, just put it from the back and then just pull it from the side from the front. So this is called front post. Alright, and then keep making back post and then front post, okay, for 6 sets. And after you finish this row, you still have 24 stitches. Okay, and then for row 6, you are going to do the same thing as row 5, just making 2 chain first, and then make 2 back post HDC and 2 front post HDC, and then just repeat it for 6 sets. And after you finish this row, you also have 24 stitches. Alright, and then for making row 7 and row 8, you will make 2 chain and then do a little bit of different pattern by making two front post HDC and then 2 back post HDC, and then just repeat that for 6 sets, 6 times, okay? And then you can just slip stitch at the end of the row, and after you finish the 8th row, you can just fasten off. Alright, you can just fasten off like this. Okay, and then to make the basket handle, you can cut the Y for the length that you are desire. I cut it like this, and then you just try to bend the edge to make the loop on both ends. Actually, you should do it both ends. So first of all, you just slip stitch the yarn in the mid of the long side of the basket, and then just put the hook into the loop like this, and then make SC on the Y first, and then you keep making SC on the Y by inserting the hook below the Y, and then just pull the yarn wrapping the Y like this. So, and then you can make SC as long as you want until it reach another size, and after that you can just bend the ends again to be the loop, and then you can make the you can bend the end, and then you can just like hook the end of the loop to the another side of the basket as well. And finally, you can just make slip stitch the yarn to the other side in order to secure it. Okay, and after you have already arranged it like this, you can just slip stitch it like this. Okay, now it is very pretty, very cute. Okay, and then just fill in the daisy. So for of the daisy, I will just fill it in, and you can just insert the Y through the baskets, and then you can just secure it like I do. Alright. Okay, and then you can put like 4 of them, 4 of the daisy on each corner of the basket, and then the last one I would just cut it and then just insert it because it can be detachable. Alright, and this is now you are done. You can sew the daisy to the basket as well, and lastly you can use the small piece of wire like this. Cut the small piece of wire. For this wire I use like 0.4 mm size, and you can just insert this like this, and finally you can make the hook to insert it into the arms wide of Daisy, and now she can hold the. Okay, now this is done. Thank you so much for watching. If you like it, please see the next video. Please subscribe to my channel and also follow me on Instagram. Goodbye.